Hey there, everybody. This is a fan with too much time coming back at you with another Extra Talk. And today we have two pretty exciting things to talk about. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and sort of combine those two topics into one because they really relate to one thing, in all honesty. And those two things are the two new trailers we just got for two very exciting sci-fi franchises, one of which does something very, very right, and one of which does not. Both are very impressive looking trailers, for sure, but we'll get into it in a second. So, the two trailers I'm speaking of course, are Star Wars Eclipse and Space Marine 2. That's right. We're finally getting back to the Space Marine franchise after, I don't know, what's it been, like 10 years since the last one? It's pretty wild that I'm old enough for that crap to happen. You know, getting older, you notice it with things like this. The last Space Marine was 10 years ago. So let's just go ahead and sort of jump into it. I'm going to go ahead and show you both trailers, and I'll sit here and watch them with you, and you'll hear my commentary on the way in. If you want to watch the trailers, which I do suggest you do, you want to watch them without my commentary or anything in them, go ahead and look in the description. I'll link to both trailers. So, with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and watch the first one here. Let's start with Space Marine. You gotta love the Aquila. God, I'll never get tired of like the overly gothic, like city planet architecture that we get in this. Got some guardsmen, some Cadians, I think, and Tyranids. See, this is pretty awesome because all things, you know, taken equally, I feel like Tyranids are a more inspired foe than orcs typically are. They carry a lot more of the sci-fi horror with them. And to counter that sci-fi horror, we have our Space Marines. Look at that, they even back up. They even fucking back up. Oh, man. I fucking love it. Give me the gore. Yes. Oh. And you've got the warrior. And here we go. Look at this. We get to see a Primaris take on a Tyranid warrior. And, bitch, you think this is a sword fight? This is just a fight. Oh, I love it. Oh, and look at that. Oh, he just tore his fucking head clean off his body with just the arm. That's right. Be in awe. Be in awe. Fuck, look at this scene right here. I love it. You know, they don't have to stop to tell you anything. Like, this universe has always been so good at show, don't tell. And look at this show. It's so good. Look at the swarms. Oh, it's good. And look who it is. It's our motherfucking boy, Titus. Oh, and the cherry on top. Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous gameplay. Thank fucking God. You know, here's the thing. I'm so torn with Games Workshop because it's like they thrive on holding back from us. You know, it's like their real profit is how much they don't get out of us because they are so slow with things like this. I have no idea what the impetus was for bringing Titus back, aside from the fact that we have wanted another Space Marine game for a really long time. And, you know, I know that a lot of people will be like, oh, well, don't complain now that we get it. Look, all right, I am very spiteful of a lot of Games Workshop's practices, okay? And I refuse to allow myself to be bribed, albeit by a very good bribe like this, into any kind of, like, not bitching about it. That being said, That trailer was excellent. I wonder if our friend who made Astartes actually had any hand in that. But that aside, the trailer was great. It came with gameplay. We got to see the main characters. We get to see at least a gist of the main entry conflict. You know, this trailer did a lot right. This trailer did a lot more right than it did wrong, if anything wrong. Really, it was great. Really, I love it. So, with those things said, you know, about this trailer, that being that this trailer set its premise out, made it very clear, set the tone for the game, showed us what would be in the game, showed us gameplay, showed us the main character. It did just about everything that a trailer needs to do. I think it more or less covered every base. I'm not sure here, but it definitely covered most of them, if not all of them. So, with that being said, let's go over here now and watch Star Wars, shall we? So let's go ahead, pull it up, and here we go. You know, I kind of like how stylistic that was just now, you know, and it looks like it's around a force tree, like similar to what we saw in the sequel movies with Luke. You know, got the Eclipse coming up. Lucas Games. Ooh, Lucasfilm Games. Yeah, there you go. And so we got this wrecked, you know, damaged ship flying in. Music is very, very, you know, Dune-y, ominous. I like this. This is almost what I like most about the entire trailer, even though we've seen so much Star Wars scenery like this that it's even starting to grow old on me, but I just want them to do something with it. Hopefully they will. It looked like a Klingon bird of prey or a swoop bike. I got some Jeddah, some priests of Jeddah. Got some sort of 3PO model here. Maybe not our 3PO, though. Two Jedi fighting at the steps of the temple. And, you know, some guy from the Trade Federation. Got Dooku and Lord Hoth, looks like, or maybe some Wookiee Jedi. And, you know, I don't know what this is supposed to be allegoring to. Maybe this is the Stark hyperspace war that we're seeing ramp up right now. This is would be my best guess, would be that this is the Stark hyperspace war. But, you know, I would expect to see more Aqualish and other involved species if that were the case. Oh shit, Tau and Star Wars confirmed. And speaking of Klingon bird of prey, we've also got the skin of evil Azimuth showing up here. I mean, you know, this is all very cool, but what does any of this mean? Ooh, and then there's the Eclipse. So, this trailer is very cool. You know, I get it. It's a very cool trailer. And it's by Quantic Dream, the same people who made that Android game. No actual gameplay. Yeah, I can tell. See, I love Star Wars, and on the whole, I feel like Star Wars is handled better than Warhammer most of the time. Just it's on a much larger stage with a lot bigger players. Most of the time. It's a big, not all the time, most of the time. But that being said, I don't really like this trailer, you know? And I'll explain to you why. I mean, it's very cool. There's a lot that's cool about it. The music is very cool and intense. A lot of very cool scenes and things. But, you know, who's the main character? Maybe Yoda, maybe Dooku, maybe none of them, most likely none of them. Okay. Who is the main villain? Azimuth? You know, Plagueis maybe, or Tenebrous, or maybe young Sidious, something like that, right? Okay, forget that. We don't need to know who the protagonist is, or who the antagonist was. What's the antagonist force in general? what's the antagonist force in general? What are we looking at when it comes to, like, okay, what will we be fighting? Oh, there's like the Trade Federation in here. I guess before they, their battle droid army went out. So I guess we're fighting the Trade Federation, maybe? Okay, so it's not super clear as to whose war this Star Wars will be taking place in. But okay. So what do we know? What do we know from this trailer about the game we will be playing? Do we know anything about the gameplay? No. Do we know anything about the main character? No. Side characters? No. Do we know anything about the villains? No. Do we know anything about the plot? No. I mean, ostensibly there will be war and a fight and a military conflict, like we see armies being deployed, and that leads us to the assumption that there's going to be something to do with them. But this trailer tells us very little, and what it tells me is that they don't know what this game is going to be about. I almost get the impression that this is extremely Anthem-y. You remember BioWare's Anthem, where the idea behind it changed like 87 fucking times because they began working on the whole thing and even advertising it before they even figured out what they wanted to do with it. I feel like this is that, but potentially even worse, or at least earlier. I honestly feel like a Disney executive saw Dune, was like, oh my god, we need to have Dune-flavored Star Wars. We need Dune-flavored Star Wars. And like, okay, get things working for Dune-flavored Star Wars. And the instant that it was determined that there would be a project, and that project would be a video game, and that it would be Dune-flavored Star Wars, the instant that was decided, we got this trailer where it was like, okay, we don't know what the game is about yet. We don't know what the main character looks like. We don't even know what the main villain's going to be, but we do know that it's going to be in this general area with these general aesthetics. So just give us a cool, Dune-y sort of like trailer, with some of the things that we have decided, as few of those things as there are, but nothing that commits anywhere or commits anything, and like nothing like that. And what will we name it? Let's name it something vague. Something that could be put onto basically anything. Like, forget the fact that the Eclipse is Palpatine's flagship from Legends, and it's like a super iconic ship design and something that people have wanted to see in main Star Wars forever. Can't possibly be happening in this, obviously, for reasons that are super self-evident. Forget anything, really. Just slap a name on it, and like, how many of you out here who are listening to me right now really believe, really think, with your heart of hearts, that there will be an eclipse in this game beyond maybe a symbol? Like, there will be an actual like phenomenon where an eclipse occurs and that's significant for whatever reason. For me, it's like, I think there's a 30% chance that will be the case. A 30% chance. No more than that. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means that I really don't think it's necessary. This whole game could have nothing to do with an actual eclipse outside of like a symbol, perhaps. Maybe not even. They might make it about, like, they might have nothing to do with an actual eclipse. Just the name sounds good. The name will catch, And I don't like that. It's the reverse of what we got with the previous trailer. The previous trailer told us everything we needed to know, and it told it to us without telling us anything. It just showed all of it to us. This shows us a lot, and it tells us nothing. What we're shown gives us nowhere near the barest minimum of what I expect a gameplay trailer, or even a trailer for a movie, to like explain or show to me. If this were a series or a movie, there would be huge red flags here. It's like, all right, who are the main actors? What's the plot? What's going on in any capacity? So the Star Wars trailer is really, really not giving me a lot of confidence. I mean, we already know that Disney has money, so all this intense, awesome production value, it doesn't mean anything. And, forgive me, Quantic Games, I'm extremely iffy on them, especially for a project like this. You know, Indigo Prophecy and I think they made Indigo Prophecy and Detroit Become Human. They were all right, I guess, but I had some major bones to pick with Detroit Become Human. And I am not certain that I want a Star Wars game in that vein. You know, like what? Do you not want you not want combat gameplay or consistent combat gameplay? Because that's basically what we'll be getting if we go Detroit Become Human with Star Wars. But more than that, it's this. Detroit Become Human was not good enough to justify the way that it did things. It didn't examine its own philosophy closely or respectfully enough, in my opinion. You know, you can't allegory the civil rights movement to an android civil rights movement, because androids aren't human, and they simply are not human. You know, they may be made to look like people so that people will be comfortable around them, but it is reasonable to expect that you can make a servant android, and that servant android will want to be a servant forever, because it hasn't been designed not to. It's a very different... I've got a whole different bone to pick insofar as the philosophy of Detroit Become Human and what it tries to do with allegory in that way. And also how the game ends and the things that you have to pick, because, you know, it really does misrepresent a lot of what is involved in an actual civil struggle and an actual civil conflict. There is no way of getting everyone out alive, especially if you choose to be peaceful. I mean, as weird as that might sound, it's like being peaceful and not resorting to radical violence is extremely difficult, and it might not even be effective when it comes to getting your movement to succeed, because we have to look at other movements, you know, and it's usually a blending of people realizing that it's one over the other and choosing peace over civil unrest and conflict, which has to be threatened, or at least shown to be a real threat. So, in any case, that's just my issues with Detroit Become Human. My whole point is just that I imagine them taking that same level of thought and moving it into this game. And you know what? Maybe it's better in Star Wars. Maybe they don't have to tackle such heavy themes in Star Wars. But what they do have to tackle is a canonicity that I really don't feel they will be able to represent correctly. It's just... think about it. This definitely takes place before the Clone Wars. What is the impact that you can realistically have in this game? What is it? You know, what can you possibly do that would give you the choice that Quantic Games has made in the ends of their games before, like here, that would feel in any way meaningful or feasible? I mean, yes, it is possible to do that by telling an isolated story inside of the greater story. Sort of like, okay, maybe you determine the fate of this planet or the fate of these characters. But if that's going to feel impactful in this setting, they really need to sell me on this planet that I will be determining the fate of, or these characters whose fates will be in my hands, and I have to like them and believe in them and sort of fall in love with their existence, whether I love to hate them or love to love them, or somewhere in between. And the sad thing about that is, and I'm sure that many of you agree with me as I'm saying this, and understand where the logic is coming from when you're, you know, comparing the types of games Quantic Studios has made before and the setting of Star Wars. And the problem is that we come back to this trailer, and the most prominent character in the trailer is the Tau dude who's beating the drum. He's seriously the most prominent character to feature, and that's not a very good sign. You know, what does that say about just the story we're going to be told? It says very little. It says nothing. And when Quantic Dream is the name of the studio. When Quantic Dream is the one sort of designing this game, you're not getting into it because the combat's going to be so good and so fresh, or because the crafting is going to feel so fulfilling, or because the gameplay is going to be front and center. You're doing it because the character interactions and the story are going to be front and center. They're going to hold up everything, even more than they normally do, which I would debate that a good, or at least feasible story in a video game are the lubricant you need to really sit there and enjoy it for hours and hours. And we can see examples of good gameplay paired with bad storytelling that just tanks the game. So while I am fairly reasonably sure that the new Space Marine game will fulfill its role and its purpose, and I know what those roles and purposes are, and I know that it will be probably you know, it's definitely in the hard running for an adequate sequel just from what I saw in the trailer. I can't say the same thing for the Star Wars trailer. And think about that, because in the Star Wars trailer, we have Disney, this powerful company that knows how to make money from an IP and just needs to apply some Marvel thinking to the Star Wars universe to get a lot out of it, you know, and just take it out of the hands of people who don't know what to do with it. And on top of that, we have this studio, you know, Quantic Dream, which is not a small studio, has made some really incredible, or at least, you know, renowned titles, has a very unique way of approaching gameplay that is certainly not your standard kind. Now let's go over to the other side. We have Games Workshop, a company that knows how to throw money out, knows how to spit in the face of their customers, knows how to spit in the face of their fans, is constantly holding back their IP, constantly demeaning their base, like, you know, and who have they attached to this game? Not Relic. Did you notice it wasn't Relic? Not Relic. No, who did they attach? I forget the name of the studio at the moment, but I tend to remember that, like, they haven't done anything like this before. I think they've made some driving simulators or something similar. I'm not versed very well in their catalog. I haven't played any of it, but when I scanned through it, it didn't look like anything that would contribute itself to this kind of game. But you know what? The Space Marine 2 trailer, in spite of all of those things I just said, gives me far, far more faith than the Star Wars Eclipse trailer, in spite of the things I said about it. Insofar as Quantic Dream is behind it, and Disney is behind it. You know, I before this trailer, if you had told me, would you like a Quantic Dream Star Wars? I would have said, yeah, that sounds interesting as fuck. Now, I'm not sure that the Quantic Dream Star Wars we're going to get will be at potential. And if it is, well, it doesn't seem like the studio or Disney are confident enough to show it to us. And that does not inspire my confidence. So that was what I wanted to talk about insofar as these trailers are concerned. Sorry this talk has taken so long. Just another quick update on Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k. That is coming out. You know, I keep seeing you guys comment on it. I haven't given up on it. It's gonna come out January 1st. I'm just trying a few different things right now. You know, helping to keep the algorithm up while I finish writing this and get some other things done in my personal life. You don't need to question it. You don't need to doubt it. You don't need to worry about it. Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k is happening. The only way it wouldn't happen is if I get, like, legit legally shut down for it. But outside of that, I'm going to bring it to you. It's coming. Just wait. New Year's. I'll release it, and you'll see it, and it'll be good. I have faith that what I've made up till now will be enjoyable. And I'll just wait to see how you enjoy it. But, you know, don't gloom, doom, and despair in the comments. You know, I read all those things, and I end up seeing it one way or the other. And I'm trying to do less and less of that, honestly, as I get more and more people watching the channel. But just be aware that Star Wars is coming out. I mean, Star Wars vs. Warhammer 40k is coming out. There's no need to despair. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Honestly, I've just had a lot going on in my life. I'll expand on that more later, perhaps. But, you know, I'm not being paid for it, and it eats enormous hours out of my day. I think that if I put together all of the videos that I've made so far, it's like easily enough to be a hefty novel. And that's like, yeah, I've written a novel for free. So, you know, it has to be written when reality permits for it. Luckily, I'm trying to organize things right now in my life so that reality will permit for it much more often, but we will see. In any case, until that time and until the next awesome gameplay trailers, I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, and sorry, one more thing. If you guys, you know, I hate to be the one who pleads here, but if you do want to support me and at least help bolster my ego a little bit and make me feel sort of good about myself, please do check out the two original works that I produced. They're part of One Piece. It's a little experimental. I don't mind if you guys have bad reviews about it. I just don't want it to go unseen. Please let me know what you think about what I wrote, and if you liked it or not, and if you would like to see more in that sort of theme and vein. I won't say anything else about it, but if you do want to make the writer feel a little pat on my back, go ahead and check that out and just let me know what you think. I'm always looking to be better. If it really is the case that it's just not my best work, go ahead and tell me. It'll let me know, and I can't really do anything about what I don't know. So that's how you can help me out if you want to, and if it's not too much trouble. In any case, until the next video, I'll see you next time.